bold, brutal, and built to beggar the senses. The 2026 Lamborghini Revuelto GT is the kind of grand tour that rewrites what a GT can be, not by softening Lamborghini's feral instincts, but by channeling them into a more civilized, long-distance predator. Imagine a V12 Gladiator softened where it needs to be and sharpened where it matters. The Revuelto GT keeps the Revuelto's revolutionary 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 at its core, married to Lamborghini's tri-motor hybrid architecture to deliver thunderous, immediate thrust yet with an unexpectedly cultured temperament for miles of high-speed cruising. That hybrid setup isn't a compromise. It's an upgrade that gives the GT variant a broader torque band, instant electric torque off the line, regenerative efficiency for long stints, and a battery-managed serenity. When you want to move across countries without irritating hotel neighbors or burning through fuel stops, but make no mistake, in the proper mood, the Revuelto GT remains an unapologetic Lamborghini. The combined output, well into the high 900s or more depending on tune, means acceleration that shrinks distances and an oral signature that is still dominantly V12. A composition of mechanical fidelity and electric augmentation that sings with mechanical richness, yet obeys emissions or our sensibilities. Beneath that breathtaking symphony sits a carbon fiber monocoque and an obsessive structural layout aimed at blending GT compliance with supercar rigidity. The result is a chassis that soaks highway lumps with poise while remaining razor-focused through sweepers. The GT suspension calibration trades nothing in ultimate capability, but it smooths the ride and extends composure on long runs, letting you hammer through mountain passes, then roll into a seaside town with spotless manners. Add to this a suite of active aero and adaptive drivetrain mapping that alters behavior on the fly. Low drag modes for grand touring, higher downforce maps for canyon assaults, and you have a machine that feels equally elemental in the Alps and aristocratic on the autostrada. For buyers who want a spaceship for the weekend and a civilized chariot for Monday morning, the Revuelto GT shows that Lamborghini can make a proper GT without neutering its DNA. Lamborghini.com+1, where the Revuelto GT truly earns its superweapon. Moniker is in the way it disguises ferocity under the veneer of GT sophistication. Design-wise, it's unmistakably a Lamborghini, dramatic shoulders, Y-shaped lighting signatures, and scissor doors that still deliver theater, but the GT's silhouette stretches longer. Its aerodynamic philosophy tuned to low drag and high stability at sustained top speeds. The bodywork is an exercise in purposeful beauty. Sculpted flanks that hide functional intakes and subtle vents that feed the hybrid system and cool the V12, while the rear integrates an exposed engine motif and exhaust geometry that frames the car's mechanical heart like an altar. Carbon fiber panels reduce mass where it counts, while targeted stiffness in the passenger cell preserves composure over the kind of distances a grand tour should dominate. Inside, Lamborghini's cabin makes an argument for GT luxury without cravenly abandoning the brand's motorsport roots. Deeply bolstered seats with long journey support, premium leathers and Alcantara, and thoughtful ergonomics that place both driver and passenger in near-perfect alignment with car and surroundings. The infotainment and driver interfaces in the Revuelto GT are sophisticated enough for long trips, navigation that plans charging or fuel stops, state-of-charge readouts, adaptive cruise capabilities, yet they remain finger-friendly and purist in presentation, so you never feel like you're piloting an appliance. Acoustic engineering dampens unwanted frequencies, so the V12's music is foregrounded, not masked. An NVH control allows conversation at motorway speeds, a little miracle in a car that also wants to scream at red lines. For collectors and enthusiasts who demand both presence and practicality, the Revuelto GT's packaging is a proof of concept. Lamborghini hasn't traded drama for comfort. It has taught drama how to be elegant. Wikipedia+1 performance in the Revuelto GT is less about arbitrary numbers on a spec sheet and more about usable, repeatable speed, the kind you exploit on a long, winding road trip, or a high-speed interstate run. The hybrid V12's instant torque from electric assistance irons out turbo lag hypotheses and makes every gear change feel like a conscious choice rather than a mechanical necessity. Transmission tech, an advanced 8-speed automated unit with lightning quick internal logic dispatches power smoothly and brutally when needed. With multiple drive modes that transform the car's demeanor. Whisper quiet EV-like creep for urban arrivals. Efficient long-haul cruise for cross-country legs. And full-bore track-minded aggression when the roads turn serpentine. Braking and chassis control systems are tuned to provide the confidence you expect from a GT that can be hustled hard. Regenerative braking is woven into the package so the brakes remain fresh on multi-day drives. While ceramic composite rotor options ensure fade-free performance when you do choose to play. Tires and suspension geometry are chosen to favor sustained high-speed stability without sacrificing the kind of communicative feedback a keen driver demands. This is a GT that won't numb your senses, it will refine them. The Revuelto GT also benefits from advanced torque vectoring and an electronically managed all-wheel drive system that make high-speed cornering feel effortless and predictable, allowing the driver to place the car with surgical precision even at velocity. In practice, that means you can confidently plan a route of mountain switchbacks and high-speed sweepers. Push for time without anxiety. Then switch to comfort mode and make dinner reservations without a trace of mechanical indignity. LAMBOCharlotte.com+1. Luxury in the Revuelto GT is not ostentation. It's an insistence on detail that makes every long journey less about the car and more about the experience the car enables. Materials are selected with a craftsman's eye. Full-grain leathers with hand-stitched motifs. Carbon fiber trim that's warm to the touch where appropriate. And metal switches and toggles that communicate mechanical honesty. Noise, vibration, and harshness. NVH management receives special attention. You still hear the V12, but the cabin filters the frequencies so that music, conversation, and contemplative silence remain possible at highway velocity. Storage is thoughtfully provided, not cavernous like an SUV. But enough for a weekend bag and essentials, and ergonomics are tuned to reduce fatigue even after hours behind the wheel. Connectivity is modern and intuitive. Comprehensive navigation that factors range and charging fueling stops into grand tour planning. Over-the-air updates for systems refinement. And a passenger-oriented display that communicates essential trip data without distracting the driver. The GT's climate and seat controls are tuned for endurance, multi-zone climate for changing weather, and ventilated seats for every season. Chauffeuring in the Revuelto GT feels less like bearing a showpiece and more like escorting a friend through a primeval landscape. The car is the host, not a show-off. All this luxury is wrapped in an attentiveness to exclusivity. Bespoke paint and ad personam customization options allow owners to craft a car that's as unique as their passport stamps. Lamborghini.com+1. Technology in the Revuelto GT reads like a manifesto for modern performance. More assistance where it enhances confidence, less where it dilutes engagement. The infotainment and driver interfacing are centered on clarity. Large central displays with tactile controls. A clear driver cluster that prioritizes driving information. And smart trip planning that helps you choose charge points or fuel stops and recommends conservation modes to reach them. Autonomous features are calibrated for GT life. Adaptive cruise and lane guidance reduce fatigue on long motorway stretches. While advanced driver aids step in discreetly when the margin for error narrows. The Revuelto GT also employs a modular drive mapping philosophy. The car learns and adapts, using predictive algorithms to precondition suspension, battery temperature, and engine maps for the next leg of your journey. Charging strategy is integrated with route planning, so fast charging stops are minimized and life on the road stays fluid. At the same time, the electric assist gives you silent approaches when discretion is desired. For the tech-savvy owner, over-the-air updates keep the car fresh. And telematics provide deep insights into vehicle health and performance. Invaluable when you're planning multi-country tours and want reliability as much as drama. Importantly, Lamborghini's approach keeps driving delight at the center. Technology augments, it doesn't replace. The GT remains a partner in exploration, not an autopilot chauffeur stealing agency. Car and driver plus one, finally. The Revuelto GT is a statement about how a modern Lamborghini can carry the brand's emotional core into practical, luxurious real-world use without losing its edge. It's a car that says you don't have to choose between a weekend demon and a weekday companion. You can have a V12 that roars across a mountain pass and then purrs politely into a 5-star courtyard. Ownership is an experience that blends theater and discretion. A car that will headline concours events, yet slip unnoticed into remote hotel driveways when you want privacy. For collectors and drivers who respect lineage, the Revuelto GT represents the continuity of Lamborghini's V12 soul carried forward with hybrid sensibilities and modern engineering rigor.